Is the Ibanez Q54 the kind of guitar that will actually move you forward, or is it another box you'll end up dusting off after a few months? Who's going to love the mix of a Nyatoh body, a versatile HSS pickup layout, and a sleek flat black finish, and who should just keep looking? And, most importantly, does it give you enough bang for the buck to feel like a smart everyday purchase? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the Q54, the first thing that kept me awake at night was the worry that a mid-range Ibanez could end up sounding flat or feel too generic for players who already have a couple of guitars. That fear is real for a lot of buyers. You want a solid body that can hold its own in a band setting without sounding like a practice room prop, but you also don't want to burn a hole in your wallet. The Q54 lands in that sweet spot where the brand's reputation for quality meets a price that's still approachable for most hobbyists and gig-going players. The body is made from Nyatoh, a wood that's not as common as alder or mahogany, but it brings a surprisingly balanced tone. In my tests, the low-end thump is warm enough for bluesy riffs, while the mids stay articulate for rhythm chords in a punk setting. When you push a bit harder, the highs stay clear instead of getting harsh, which is a subtle win for anyone who likes to switch between clean and mildly overdriven tones in a single set. The flat black finish isn't just a visual cue, it also means the guitar doesn't show fingerprints as readily, which is a practical bonus for giggers who swap instruments backstage. The neck is a maple and Bubinga combo, a pairing that gives a smooth feel under the hand but also a bit of rigidity when you need it for fast runs. I tried a typical rock pentatonic lick and a quick jazz chord progression, and the neck stayed comfortable for both. The Bubinga component adds a touch of brightness to the overall tone, which you'll notice when you pull the humbucker into a crunchy overdrive. There's a little extra snap that keeps the notes from getting muddy. For a player who spends a lot of time in the middle of the fretboard, that extra definition can be a real confidence boost. The pickup layout, 2 single coils up front and a humbucker at the bridge, covers a lot of ground. The neck single coil is great for clean, glassy tones. I could set it to a classic crystal clean and it sang nicely through a 50-watt amp. The middle pickup, also a single coil, gives you a brighter, more cutting sound that works for funk rhythms or that classic 80s pop chime. The bridge humbucker, on the other hand, is where the Q54 shows its versatility. A bit of grit for blues rock, a full-on roar for hard rock riffs, and even a surprisingly warm growl when you roll back the volume a notch. What's practical here is that you don't have to own a second guitar to get a decent spread of tonal options for a small gig. The monotune bridge is another piece of the puzzle. It's a fixed bridge with fine tuners, which means you get solid sustain without the hassle of a tremolo that can go out of sync. In a real-world rehearsal scenario, I never had to stop and retune after a high-energy set, which is a small but appreciated convenience for anyone playing live. The downside: if you're a player who loves dive bombs, whammy bar tricks, or the expressive nuance a floating tremolo offers, the Q54's fixed bridge will feel limiting. That's a clear skip if scenario. Guitarists who demand extreme pitch bending might want to look elsewhere. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that matter once the guitar lands in your case. The Q54's weight is moderate. It's not a slab that hurts your back after an hour on stage, but it also isn't featherlight to the point where it feels flimsy. The ergonomics of the body shape allow you to reach the higher frets without contorting, which is a subtle win for lead-oriented players. The control layout is straightforward: volume, tone, and a 3-way selector, so you spend less time hunting for the right knob mid-song. I also found that the default electronics don't need any immediate upgrades. The stock pots are smooth, and the pickup output is balanced, meaning you can plug into a standard amp and get a usable tone right out of the box. On the weakness side, the Nyatoh body, while offering a balanced tone, does not have the same punch that a heavier ash or mahogany might deliver in a high-gain setting. If you're planning to play primarily metal with a lot of gain, you might notice a slight loss of low-end thickness compared to a guitar built specifically for that genre. Also, the lack of a coil tap on the humbucker means you can't instantly drop to a single coil-like sound on the bridge, which some modern players